Hello, so I am recording this episode on the 3rd of January, and I know that this time of year can be one where you spend more time than you normally would with family members. And a lot of the time, this happens even though relationships are strained or difficult, and you know that you're going to find the experience quite stressful. So I want to talk about this today in this whole context of us almost like excusing bad behavior under this umbrella of, oh, but it's family. Because there is this strong sense of duty that it's just what we do because it's family. And whilst that is fine in some context, if you get to a point where you recognize that what you are doing in the context of your family is actually harming your health and well-being, I just want to offer that there might be a different way that you want to approach it. So I'm going to look at this from a couple of different perspectives is the wrong word, a couple of different scenarios. And I'm just going to offer an alternative view. Okay, so some of us grew up with very well-intentioned, loving parents that absolutely did their very, very best, and they tried their very, very best all of the time. And regardless of that, they still did some things that left a mark that we now need to deal with as adults, right? And some of you had parents who arguably still did their best, but really did things that were not good for you. Things that were physically and emotionally and maybe sexually abusive, right? And within the family system that you operate, there might still be all of these unspoken rules about the fact that what happens in the family stays in the family. There's family secrets, things don't get talked about. So there's a lot of internalized shame. And then in the context of the outside world, everyone is still presenting this happy, healthy family facade. And so in terms of how you act and then engage, it's almost like you're denying it to yourself. So you're still trying to engage with your family in a healthy way, but it's not a healthy family system. And you've got all of this past stuff going on in the body from the things that happened a long time ago. And yet now as an adult, you are trying to take care of your family member as if there's a healthy relationship there when there isn't. So to stop being vague, if you had abusive parents, and as adults now your parents are getting frail or they're unwell or their needs are greater, and you feel, because it's family, that there is this sense of duty. So maybe in your family system, that's just always been the way. You know, when the parents get sick or old and infirm and they can't take care of themselves anymore, the kids step in, right? So there might be this expectation within your family system that that is what you do. Just notice how it feels in your body when you do those duty-bound actions. So when you take mum in, when you take dad in, when you step in to that carer role, how is it feeling for you? Is your body screaming because you are having to spend time with someone that your nervous system is still terrified of? Is your body screaming because there is so much undealt with anger against this person that you feel duty bound to take care of. And I think it's just really worth us noticing this, because so often we abandon our body responses, we abandon our needs, we abandon our desires, because somehow, somewhere out there, we've taken on this rule that we think cannot be challenged or questioned in any way, that because it's family, it doesn't matter what they've done, we just have to take care of them. So that's like the first scenario I want you to think about. And for some of you, this will be very relevant right now. For some of you, it won't be relevant, but it may be relevant in the future. Okay. And what can be really useful in this context is to think about the duties that we would ordinarily owe each other within a healthy family system, right? Because if you think about it so just to carry on this situation, as the child of the parent, you might think that, you know, they did their role as a parent, and so my role as the child now is, as they get old, as they get ill, as they get X, Y, and Z, it's my role to then look after them. Okay. And I don't necessarily disagree with that in some context, but we've got to look at what was the role of the parent that kind of justifies maybe that being the role of the child. And I would say the role of the parent was to ensure that the child grew up in a loving home, in a safe home, in a home where they felt loved, in a home where they felt that they could express themselves freely without fear. Right? And if you grew up in an environment where you didn't get any of those things, where it was a dangerous environment in many ways, whether or not you want to admit it, just want to give that alternative perspective that you get to choose to take if you want, that there's not a lot that you owe at that point. If you didn't get your needs met, if you didn't get what was really your right as a child, you don't then need to abandon yourself as an adult to try and take care of someone that has deeply wounded you in many, many ways. Okay. And I just think it's so important that we talk about this, because but it's family, particularly at this time of year, there's like so much gets thrown at us around Christmas. But it's family thing, it's a choice, right? You get to choose. And if you didn't have the fairy tale family, maybe you don't need to do quite so much as an adult. So I feel like I've hammered that one a little bit, but just see how it lands and see how it feels. And with all of this stuff, it's noticing how the actions you take feel on your nervous system. What happens in your body when you are around mum or dad or both of them? What happens in your body when you do these things that you feel duty bound to do? And can you get yourself to a place where, but it's family, that's just what you do, isn't some rule that you live by to the detriment of your own health and health? Then maybe on a slightly lighter note, but also maybe not, it's also looking at, so again, 3rd of January now, lots of you will have been around your family at Christmas. And it's also noticing where you maybe abandoned yourself and didn't do what feels good for you around that time period, again, because of the pressure, because of the expectation, because it's Christmas, because it's family. And just have a look back on the last few weeks and think about the social events that you went to, or the meals that you went to, or the gatherings that you did or didn't do. You know, maybe your friends were doing some stuff and you really wanted to see your friends, but then there was an expectation that you were going to spend the time with your family instead. So just again, notice where expectation and pressure and this umbrella of, oh, but it's family came in, and where you maybe didn't do the things that would have felt good for you in order to appease other people. Right? Because life, yes, is full of compromise. But what we also want to do as adults is to get ourselves to that place where we can express our needs, we can express our desires, and we can take care of ourselves. And we trust and learn and know that other adults around us are capable of being disappointed. Like, it's okay that we disappoint other people in order to take care of ourselves. And they are capable of dealing with their emotions. And so often when we grow up in environments where love is conditional, you know, you achieve and you did do this, you please mum and dad, and then you get treated well, but only if you please mum and dad. We take this very often into our adult lives, where we people please, where we abandon ourselves, where our boundaries are really poor, because we have learned that in order to be valuable and lovable, we have to make sure everybody else is happy. And the person that doesn't get happy in that scenario is you, or us. I can include myself in this. So again, just noticing, and this is not my phrase, I think it might be Glennon Doyle, but I might be wrong, but to get to that place where we abandon ourselves last. I think her phrase is something like, you know, I choose to no longer abandon myself and my comfort, the comfort of somebody else. Because so often there is so much going on in our physiology and our bodies that it feels so deeply uncomfortable to us that somebody else might think badly of us because of what we think that means, the threat that feels like it's going to have to our existence, that we can't get there. And often we need help and support with that because it's such a deeply ingrained survival pattern. Must keep other people happy. So just notice what comes up as I talk through this. And as you go through your day-to-day life, just notice, where are you abandoning yourself or your needs or your wants or your natural desires? Where do you feel that thing on your body of like, oh, I don't want to do this, but you do it anyway? And what is it that you want to do with that? And in the context of the, oh, but it's family, are there any rules that you've taken on about how you think you need to be that actually don't really make sense within the context of your family system and how you, right now, in your body with its available resources and where your nervous system is at right now, is there anything that you are doing that isn't really congruent with the health of your system where it is right now? And again, what do you want to do with that? So lots of things for you to think about there. I appreciate it's not the lightest topic, but I think it is a really, really important one. Because but it's family really is something that you don't have to hold on to if you don't want to, especially if you recognize it's impacting your well-being. So if you've got any questions, I'd love to hear your feedback. Get in touch. And if you want to find more about me, check out the show notes. There'll be a link to my website in there, which will let you know a little bit more about how I can support you with this stuff. Right. Take care. And I will see you again soon.